You're whiny today, a little grunter. What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, Luna and I wanted to cover a topic that we found important because we've been talking about it quite a bit lately. And this video, guys, is going to be geared towards my tips for you if you plan on adopting a Jack Russell or another dog and already have one or the other. So this is going to be about what to do with the two dogs, like how to socialize them, you know, what to do if they don't get along at first, how to make sure that that transition is smooth. We're gonna cover my tips for that in particular today with Luna helping out. So let's start diving into it. So one of the biggest questions that gets asked either in the comments on the channel or in general when it comes to having two dogs, because you guys know that I have Graham and Luna, so one is a yellow lab and then we have the Jack Russell Luna here, is how long does it take for them to get used to each other? And here's the biggest thing I can tell you about that situation. And the most truthful way to answer that is it's going to probably always completely depend on the two dogs, which one is the new dog coming home, and the behavior of the original dog. So for me in particular, it was super easy because Luna was the new dog coming into the family. We had already had Graham for 5 years at the time, and he's a pretty laid back dog, and puppies are pretty laid back. All they do is sleep in the beginning. So you had Luna just kind of sleeping, Graham having the opportunity to kind of sniff her out, learn her, sniff her pee whenever she wasn't potty trained yet, that kind of thing. So that helped a lot. And what I can tell you is super helpful, or what you could consider tip number 2 for this, is you need to give them a lot of time around each other. Like Luna and Graham still have little tips with each other. That's their personalities though. Like those aren't going away at this point. And the only thing that really always shows with their personality or how they feel about each other is it's always a playful manner, and then it goes away. They don't just hate each other. Graham gets annoyed, Luna gets feisty. That's kind of how it goes. But make sure that when you bring home whichever dog it is, the Jack Russell or the other breed coming home to the Jack Russell, that they have nothing but time to spend with each other. Get used to each other. I would highly recommend, as tip number 3, to always supervise the interactions in the beginning. And by beginning, I don't mean puppyhood. Because again, when they're a puppy, they don't really do anything. They nip a little bit, they're teething, but Jack Russell puppies, or any puppy for that matter, is kind of just a four-legged blob of nothing, wandering around, making mistakes potty-wise in the house, and sleeping. They don't do a ton. They have a playful side, but they don't really have that attitude yet to where they might be aggressive or something along those manners. So as they're growing into their personalities and, you know, the dog they're going to become, supervise those interactions. Make sure that the two dogs, you know, feel like they have the space that they need, they're getting the attention they need, and that everything is, you know, in line with how you want it to be in the house. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is a question that comes up all the time is, can this Jack Russell even live with another dog? And clearly the answer is yes. We've been doing it for 3 years. It was really easy in the beginning. If anything, their attitudes have come out more as they mature, as Graham gets a little bit older and less tolerant of Luna's spunky and feisty side. But they love each other, whether they tiff every now and then. They are still what we would call brother and sister dogs, not literally, metaphorically. It's completely possible. And here's another tip I have for you for making sure that it goes smoothly throughout the entire process. And that is, you always need to make sure that these dogs have their own space. Luna and Graham have their own kennel or cage if it's a situation where we need them in those cages, such as leaving, or there's a lot of situations where you might just need it for a few minutes, but they have their own space. They have their own dog beds. They have their own food and water bowls. These things are important because, especially with food, Graham is a hog, right, Luna? And Luna is protective. She is territorial, and a lot of Jack Russells are, so they need to know what is theirs and what isn't, and they will learn to just leave those other things alone. Luna doesn't touch any of Graham's stuff. Now, Graham, on the other hand, with his eating behaviors, will sometimes try and sneak in and give some of Luna's food, which will make her mad. So those are the kind of things you want to be aware of. The next thing I could say about it, guys, is you need to be careful not just with space, but with the attention. The Jack Russell and the Lab are both attention-seeking dogs. They want to have the attention, they want to win that battle, they want to get the affection from you. The goal isn't to spark an attention war between the two, even if Luna takes it in that fashion every now and then. The goal is to make sure they both get some of the attention, that they both have a little bit of time, whether that's put out through exercise so they both get their own walks, or they both get a little 5-minute quick burst of attention just from you that's uninterrupted, that's what's important. You just don't want either dog feeling like they're losing that battle, especially a dog like Luna and the Jack Russell. Graham will just go lay down if he isn't getting the attention he wants and kind of makes a long grunt like he's disappointed. Luna doesn't give up, so you don't want a dog like Luna getting the feeling that somebody else is getting a ton more love than her or that she's getting ignored, because Jack Russells just don't do well with that in general. Another question that comes up all the time is, what if they're not getting along? What can you do to make it better? And the most simple answer is you need to go back to the basics, and it's socializing them, and it's making sure that they, know those things that we've already talked about in this video. If they get what they need, they probably aren't going to have a lot of hate towards each other. Dogs that tend to get that aggressive nature towards each other or hate each other, sometimes it can be breed specific, so it's just two dogs that aren't great at socializing with either sex related or gender related items with dogs. Sometimes males and females don't do well, female and female, male and male. It depends on the breed, but sometimes it's a matter of they just don't have what they need to get along, or you're setting up the environment in a manner that they don't like, which could be, again, if Luna and Graham had to share a dog bowl for food, that would be a disaster. She would probably kill Graham because he wouldn't be able to resist eating her food or understand that he can't. And Jack Russells do not put up with that crap, is the easiest way to put it. So try and go back to the basics, socialize them more with each other, give them the attention they need, make sure they're getting exercise and getting worn out a little bit, and set some boundaries and set up the environment to win in that situation, and you'll be in way better shape. Which leads me into my next tip, guys, which is exercise is important for both. And the beginning especially, because dogs, especially when they're puppies, regardless of being a Jack Russell or a Lab or whatever dogs you're planning on blending into the same household, there is nothing more behaved than a dog that is worn out, that has already done some training throughout the day, that can be attentive to listening and doesn't have that pent-up energy that you see with Jack Russells with the zoomies and everything else. So your best thing to do to make sure you can get some quality time just teaching them the ropes is wear them out a little bit first, because these dogs have energy, and unreleased energy in addition to a bad environment can probably create a disaster with dogs who are territorial or not getting along in the first place. But overall, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this video, guys, is it is 100% possible to have a Jack Russell with another dog breed. They can do great. They can thrive with them. They can become best. You don't want me to talk about Graham anymore? You think I'm lying to everybody? They can do great. Now would be an excellent time too for you guys to always remember that you can join the community by clicking the join button or navigating to the community tab on this page or under the video. Luna can get donated some treats for as little as 99 cents. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so now. This whole channel is dedicated towards helping individuals with Jack Russells, making some funny videos, and just doing the best we can to bring our experience with this dog to you. Be sure to give us a thumbs up on this video if you haven't already. That goes a long way towards getting that YouTube algorithm just to see us and get us recommended to other people with this dog breed. Outside of that, guys, don't forget that we publish every Sunday at 11 a.m., so always tune in for the newest video. We hope that your mixing of the two dogs you plan on bringing into the same house goes well, and we will see you guys in the next video. We appreciate you, and take care.